Hey y'all, this is Cassie, and I'm going to give you my review of the Whitney Houston movie. Okay, first off, shout out to Angela Bassett because my homie, this was her directorial debut. She never directed nothing ever in her life, and she come out the box with this Whitney movie. Like, oh, okay, Angela, we see you. So it's like we've seen in interviews before when she was talking about how she only had 84 minutes to, capture Whitney through her eyes. And, she wanted to do a time period like 5 years. So why not do the prime of her life 5 years when, she finally stepped into her own and she met Bobby. And so basically it starts off as the first 5 years basically of their relationship. Now, I see where Angela going by as far as naming the project Whitney, but it really should have been named Bobby and Whitney. And I think that the preconceived notions that we all had would have been like, oh, okay, so we would have been ready. You know what I mean? Not to say that it wasn't good. It was good. It's just we was thinking we was coming into some BS because of the Aaliyah movie that Wendy Williams slack ass threw together, and we was just like, what the fuck, like, mm-mm. But anyway, so it started off in 1989 when Whitney and Bobby both was at the Soul Train Awards, and how she was nudging him and like basically like, I'm trying to get your attention. Like she had already been seen out dating Eddie Murphy or whatever, so she just was trying to, step her little coochie game up, I guess. I don't know. So she all like flirting with Bobby. Bobby in the movie, Bobby looked like, bitch, if you hit me one more time, I'm gonna slap the fuck out you. Like, don't stop. Like, so when it was time for Bobby to perform, he go up or whatever, and she's sitting in her seat, and Bobby started, I think what was it? I think he was doing every little step I take or whatever. And so they dancing and shit. You know how nasty Bobby used to be with the gyrating and the popping his balls and shit, or just doing the most. So they, the camera going back and forth between him and Whitney. Whitney sitting up in here creaming and shit, like, ooh, shit, like squirming and nutting and shit all in the seat. Like, she ain't never seen nothing like that before. And so you could tell, like, in her eyes, like, yo, who is this nigga? And why is he not gyrating in my pelvic muscles? Like, I want that. So, they introduce each other backstage, and he mad blunt with it, like, so if I actually go out, you gonna go out with me? And so she's like, like, yeah. So, they start this whirlwind romance, and according to the movie, it was saying that, the first time Bobby ever seen Whitney do coke was at her 26th birthday party that he got invited to. And, so she partying and she feeling herself. It's her birthday. She turned up. And so her brother passed her the coke. So she went partying and she was like, come on, Bobby, or whatever. Let's, take a tour of my house we just built. Now, mind you, by this time, Whitney is living with her best friend Robin, quote unquote, her lesbian lover. That was the tease they was giving me as far as like with Robin. Like, they made her look so dykish. Like, they didn't care. And then it was like, who had played Robin? Only thing I ever seen her in was she was Ray Charles' mama in the Ray Charles movie. And so she just was, she gave me lesbian tea. She loved Whitney so much, and she just could not stand Bobby. Like, I feel like nobody could stand Bobby. The mama, the best friend, like, nobody was here for Bobby. Nobody liked him but Whitney. And Whitney just was like, it was more like a lust at first sight, because that first love scene, I don't know how Lifetime let these people get away with this. Like, they was fucking and he about to eat the box and everything, and they showing all this, like, I felt mad, like, awkward. And then, like, the more and more sex scenes they did, I felt like, ooh, maybe I need me a Bobby Brown. But yeah, they really showed the passion and the love or lust that they have for each other, and how, cocaine is a hell of a drug, and that how they portrayed it, they said that Whitney was the first one to pull out the coke, like, oh shit, like I could be myself around him because he a bad boy. And she just loved that shit because she was tired of that squeaky clean image. Like, I want to be able to do myself. I'm I'm still from Newark, New Jersey. Like, I'm from the brick city. Like, I ain't about this Hollywood princess life. Like, get the fuck out of here. So from there, they goes on to have this whirlwind romance. Like, he's still fucking with his other baby mama. He already had LaPrincia. The baby mom, she still was around giving it up whenever she wanted it, or whenever he wanted it. And, he just always had this undying lust for fucking Whitney. Like, Whitney called while he was laid up with the baby mom, and she was like, listen, I'm going to need all of you inside of all of me. So, I don't care, like, get here when you can, fuck. Like, so this nigga drove 4 hours, like, from Beantown to New Jersey just to get that bitch that dick. Like, and it was just, real passionate, real nasty. And went into the cheating. Like, Bobby, she walked in on Bobby fucking the shit out of some girl. Like, he was getting it. And I don't know if I was the only one that seen it, but I feel like I had seen, this bitch all in my face. I felt like I had seen, dick or something when he got up and Whitney had walked in. He jumped up out the girl, and I feel like I seen, dick. I don't know. I gotta go back and watch it, but I could have sworn I seen his penis. So I'm like, damn, was he fucking her for real? Like, it was graphic, but not really. Like, you still ain't see much, but I just feel like Lifetime really pushed the envelope with that, because we also seen his ass when he got it. Like, it was just, I don't know. They was doing a bit much fucking, and, I'm here for it. So, they talked about how she had a miscarriage while she was on the set of The Bodyguard, and how, she was talking, her mom came first, and she, mama, mom, like, she was so dramatic. And so the mom just loving it, like, oh, I got my baby girl back, like, baby, it's okay, da-da-da-da. Side note, Whitney had a couple miscarriages. They didn't really talk about that, but yeah, that was one of many. And so, while the mom was telling her, like, you need to leave Bobby alone, like, he is not what it is. He is not a good look for you, like, and so Whitney basically told her mom, like, mom, if you can't accept my man, you can't accept me, get the hell out. And so the mom was like, oh shit, bitch, you ain't say nothing to me, like, let me get my shit and get the fuck up out of here. And so, while she was leaving out or whatever, Bobby came in. So he like, oh, where my baby? And so she was like, gesturing like, that bitch over there. And so she, like, which I could see because they was so dramatic together. I just remember being a kid and watching them together, and she just, like, loved Bobby's dirty drawers. Like, she loved that shit. Like, Bobby could do no fucking wrong. When he was going to jail and all this shit, she stood by his side and just was rooting for her nigga. Like, he the king of R&B. Like, fuck wrong with y'all fucking commoners. So, and the movie ends, I feel like, in a good way, as far as, like, not going into how she died or whatever. It went off with her singing I Will Always Love You, on stage, and sounding beautiful and looking beautiful like she did. And, after the end of that, it, captioned, like, how long they were together and different turmoils that they went through, and, up until the time of her untimely demise. And Bobby just was like, it was more of the Bobby and Whitney story, but I feel like because they couldn't get Whitney's side, that they relied on Bobby for a lot of the is that a booger? Oh no. They relied on Bobby for a lot of, the inside track, and I feel like this movie, it started out being mostly about Whitney, but in the middle and towards the end, it really came out looking like Bobby being vindicated, as far as he wasn't the one. He wasn't such a bad guy like everybody thought he was. He just was, always at the wrong place at the wrong time. And how he loved Nippy, Whitney, he used to call her Nippy. And it really turned into a, Bobby side of the story, which I'm not mad at, because the parents didn't want the movie to even happen. So who else was they gonna go to? Like, that's why I feel like they can't say shit about the movie, because Angela reached out to y'all for y'all to help her, to make this movie more than what it was, and y'all just was so stuck on it need to be in the theaters. And I just feel like y'all know how black movies do at the theater. Like, yeah, we had 4 good ones. We had Ray, Ali, the Tina Turner movie, and it was somebody else. And I would say Precious with Monique. Like, those are 4 of hundreds of black movies that come out. And, the big screen, yeah, they'll show it for a couple of weeks or whatever, and then it's gone, and then it come out on DVD, and then you just forget all about it. Now, as far as movies being on Lifetime and VH1 and stuff like that, I think that's better, just because they're going to play the hell out of them. Every holiday, every time, it's a snow day or whatever, they going to play them movies, and we going to watch them from years to years. Like, look at The Temptations. You think The Temptations would have did good at the theater? First of all, it's 19 hours long. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, but we get to see it so much because it was a network movie. So I think they did a good job. I think that was very smart to do Whitney's movie like that. And I appreciate that they didn't do a Cradle to the Grave, because without the parents' permission, it would have been basically shit that we got from Whitney through interviews or whatever. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that it was a timepiece, and that it was on Lifetime. And it also shows that Angela Bassett still is that bitch. So before I wrap this up, I also want to give a shout out to Deborah Cox, because she sang all the songs, and I've always been a diehard Deborah Cox fan. So I really appreciate that she came through in the clutch and she sang Whitney's songs. Deborah, sweetie, if you watching this, I'm gonna need for you to go ahead and put a CD out. Like, you got people saying your name again. Like, I'm pretty sure you was trending last night. So I need you to go ahead and put out a mixtape, something. Let us know, like, you ain't going nowhere. Don't come back on R&B Divas. Like, don't do none of that. Just put the music out. And I'm pretty sure your name about to be popping again in these streets. Shout out to Canada, because y'all be taking over. But anyways, shout out Drake, Justin Bieber, Melanie Fiona, Deborah Cox. Okay. Anyways, so y'all tell me how y'all think about it, and I'll get back to y'all later. Peace.